Hi friends, today I decided that I am going to do the Booktube Newbie Tags and answer these questions. I have them on my iPad, so if you see me looking down, this is what I'm looking at. All right, the first question is, why did you start this channel? Okay, I originally had a YouTube channel in the past, and in that YouTube channel, I was doing English teaching videos. That was very closely related to my job because I was teaching English at the time. And while it got a little overwhelming to go to work and then come home and do the same thing, I did enjoy the connections and I enjoyed making the videos. So I decided recently that I wanted to have a YouTube channel, but I wanted to have something that would always be separate from my job. And so I decided Booktube because that's something that I feel like I can always just yap about, and I just enjoy yapping about things. So I decided to do a Booktube channel. What are some fun and unique things you can bring to Booktube? That's question number 2. And I think my unique taste in books. I think everybody is going to be a little bit different from each other. We all have different ideas about what we read. We all read different things. And while sometimes they may be the same or similar to someone else, I think that you're always looking for somebody to get book recommendations from. At least I am. So if I share something I love, maybe you'll read it and you'll find it and you love it too. Because, sometimes you read something and you just want everybody else to know about it. Well, that's how I feel sometimes. So that's what I can bring to YouTube. Number 3, what are you most excited for about this new channel? Just the chance to share my ideas and to meet other people and get ideas from other people. Number 4, why do you love reading? I love reading first and foremost because it's something that you do quietly within yourself. You sit by yourself and you read a book and you learn new things. You learn about new people. You learn, depending on whether it's fiction, it can be just something else about humans. If it's nonfiction, maybe you're learning a particular skill. It's always something new that you're being introduced to. And it seems like it's limitless. There's so many authors out there. And when you're reading a book, you're seeing it in your own imagination. Whereas if I'm watching a movie, I'm seeing like somebody else's envisioning of the story, but in a fiction that I'm reading, I'm seeing it in my mind's eye, and I enjoy that. And I also enjoy learning new things. So those 2 reasons are why I love reading. Number 5, what book or series got you into reading? I don't know. I'm old. So what stands out to me the most would be when I was a little kid and my mom used to read to me The Adventures of Little Bear. So I remember that. I always enjoyed that. I really don't know what sustained it, but probably not even a particular book, but just the fact that my mom was a big reader. She was always reading something, and that was a good influence on me for reading. Question number 6. What questions would you ask your favorite booktubers? Okay, one question that I always would want to ask a booktuber, and I'll ask any of you, is what is your source for finding new books? Because when I finish one book, sometimes I have no idea what to read next, because especially if it was a really good book, it's like there's nothing else. This was the perfect book. There's nowhere to go from here. You get that sort of feeling that you don't know what to read. So I would ask where you go for your sources of inspiration for what to read next. Honestly, also, so many booktubers read so many books so fast. Like, how do you have time for that? I would ask that one. And then I guess I would ask some questions like, what are some things about Booktube that you would recommend to somebody who's just starting their channel? Number 7, what challenges do you think starting a Booktube channel will be the hardest to overcome? For me, it's time, because I work at a job that's an hour away. My shifts are 10 to 11 hours long, and then I drive back an hour, and then I have another job at a park, and time. So time is the biggest challenge. So when you're doing a Booktube channel, you've got to have time to read the books and then also time to make the videos. So time. When did you start reading is question number 8. I don't know. Like I said, I remember before preschool or during preschool when my mom was reading to me. I guess that's when I started reading. And then throughout my life, I've gone through phases. When I was a student, maybe I didn't have time to read as much, or I was reading what was required. And then, I would phase in and out of reading things for pleasure versus reading things for requirement all through my life. So my whole life. Number 9, where do you read? Okay, I read in this chair right here. I read in my bed. I read in my car. Those are the main places. I like the thought of reading outside in the park, but sometimes when I'm outside in the park, it's either too cold, too hot, too many bugs, something. Specifically, I read hardback books anywhere except the bed. In bed, I tend to read from my Kindle. So I usually have 2 books going. One will be on my Kindle and one will be like a hard copy of something. Number 10, what kinds of books do you like to read? Okay, I have kind of maybe a broad taste. I like horror books. I like general fiction books. I like historical fiction books. I like nonfiction books. I like mystery books. I like cozy mystery books. I like random weird books about cats. I'm pretty open to trying new things. If you have something that's interesting to me, I will read it. And where do I get my books is not one of the questions, but I think it ties into it. I get a lot of my books from the library, from the Libby app, and from secondhand bookstores. I don't buy a lot of new books because they're kind of expensive. But if there's something I really want to read, then yeah, I would get it if I couldn't find it anywhere else. So as far as what I like to read is pretty much pretty open, but I do have a tendency to love magical books, horror books, supernatural books. Those tend to be my favorites. And then anything with a good story. And as far as nonfiction books, it doesn't have to be anything in particular. Like I love the story of Jimmy Carter growing up just as much as I love the idea of reading about the space race, or the one I have on hold at the library right now is about Martians. So I've also read like some of those, self-helpish kind of books like Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I've read things like that. I'm pretty open to books. So yeah, if you have a favorite, drop it in the comments for me. All right, that was my Booktube Newbie Tag. Share yours with me. Link your video into my video. All right. Thanks for watching.